So we left Colorado and we knew we wanted to head towards Utah. We planned on spending around a month here, and I'm really excited to check it out because I've heard this place is awesome. We headed towards Mexican Hat and found this really cool place called the Valley of the Gods on Overlander. We knew there were trails nearby, so we got on Onyx off-road and we had to check them out. So this trail ended up being about 2 hours long, and we let Riley drive for a little bit until we came up on these creek crossings. They were everywhere out here, and this trail actually led to another town.
Ooh, 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 ooh. Oh my gosh!
Love it. Butt crack
You
rock.
can't really tell from this way.
Oh!
We just carved straight through this fucking mountain, didn't it? No stopping or standing because of the falling rocks, I reckon. Holy shit. Pretty cool.
After staying at the Valley of the Gods for about a week, we did a lot of riding, chilled out, and got some killer shots on the drone. And after getting low on supplies, we decided it was time to move on to our next spot. When we're getting the bus ready to move, I typically do all the inside stuff and Bryce gets the outside ready, and once everything's ready, we hook the Jeep up to the bus and ride out. There was an RV park next to a gas station and they offered a free dump if you get some fuel. So we went ahead and topped off the bus and dumped and filled our tanks. As we were pulling out of the gas station, we saw a car wash bay that would fit the bus, so we decided to give the bus and the Jeep a bath because we were very much creatures of opportunity. So after bathing the Jeep and the bus, we went and grabbed some groceries and we found a spot on Overlander, and when we got there it was a nasty muddy mess, so we knew we weren't going to stay in the bus. But we figured while we were there we should totally take the Jeep into the nasty muddy mess. And yeah, we definitely did just give the Jeep a bath, but I mean we can always give it another one, right? This place was really close to Arches National Park, so we were really trying to make it work, but it was just way too muddy to stay out there. And coincidentally enough, the Jeep started making some weird noises. So we found a place on Overlander that was about 30 minutes away called Green River. We bought Riley these walkie-talkies for Christmas, and it's like a just like some kid toy walkie-talkies, but it says it goes like 2 miles. So we're trying them right now. I'm gonna drive the Jeep behind Bryce for just a little bit. The Jeep's making like a clinking noise, so we're gonna go to like a flat spot with some gravel and take the wheels off and try to see. We think it's like a U-joint or something simple like that, hopefully. So, but that's what happens when you romp your shit. So yeah. We made it to this old military base, and they used to have a bunch of buildings on these concrete pads. And the first night we got here, it was in the 30s, so we started our wood stove and had a chill movie night. The next morning, Bryce looked at the Jeep and concluded that it was not an issue, which means that he couldn't find out what was going on, and it wasn't doing it anymore. But thankfully, it was all good, and we took our Jeep back up 30 minutes to Arches National Park. Where are we? Do you remember? Arches National Park. National. He's so cute, dear.
Hey, Dad.
Hey, baby, what?
I like to jump ice skating.
You wish you could go ice skating?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah?
Yep.
Huh.
It's so pretty with her makeup.
You already look pretty. I'm sorry. Was it sticky? Oh, you're not cold anymore?
After we explored the park for a little bit, we found out that there is a back road out of the park, and had we had known how sketchy it was going to be, we probably wouldn't have done it, but we did it, and here's a whole bunch of riding footage. So this ended up being a doozy. The gate was closed, but there was no lock on it, and we didn't check it, so we just kept driving down the interstate trying to find a way out. But turns out the gate was open the whole time. Close to where we were staying is a geyser called Crystal Geyser, and it's in Green River, Utah, and it's one of the town's biggest attractions. You can actually camp right next to it, but we didn't want to move our bus. But we did go check it out in the Jeep, and it was epic. Yeah, I know. It's super cool. Don't get in the water, babe.
Wow. It's just coming out of the earth like that.
So this is actually a cold water geyser, and it's carbon dioxide driven.
What?
So when we were there, some people told us that people have been vandalizing it by throwing rocks and trash in the geyser, so they put this grate on it, and now it just goes off sporadically. This is like just on a random road in Utah. No, it's not. And it just flows down. After hanging out in Green River for 2 weeks, it was going to start snowing, and we both have always wanted to go to a natural hot spring, and there was one about an hour and a half west of us, so we decided to go. Due to lack of planning on our part, we showed up at 9:30 at night on a Friday night of all nights, and every teenager in town was there, so we decided that we were going to leave and try and come back in the morning. It doesn't happen often where we pull up to a spot and it doesn't work out, so I'm really glad that we came back the next morning because we were greeted with killer views and a show. There were a few people out there riding in the mud, and one of them ended up getting stuck and we winched him out. So after our day at the hot springs, we hit the road north and found this really cool campsite. You know what? So we had to leave that campground because we suck at planning, and we got there and realized we didn't have any water and we're almost out of propane. So the closest store was like 30 miles away, which, if you ask me, is too far to turn around and go back when there's other spots. So, but we're gonna fill up on water, go on the other side of the parking lot, shower, come fill up again, so we have a fresh tank. So when we get to this new campground, they're free, but there's no water or electricity, which is fine. But we didn't plan well enough, so now we'll be freshly showered, we'll get everybody clean, do our dishes, fill up our water again, so when we get to this next spot, we can stay for more than a couple hours. So very naive of me to think that we were going to find a campground, because a freak snowstorm came and we found ourselves at a truck stop for the next 4 days. So we were stuck inside because of the snow for a few days, but we found a bowling alley down the road, and it was really nice to get out and let Riley have some fun. So this pretty much sums up our time in Utah, and after the snow leaves, we are heading towards Idaho and Montana. See you next week.